Catalina just fixed the biggest problem they had with their best-selling model and made this thing better than it's ever been before. Check this out. Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd of Bish's RV down here at Catalina getting an updated look at, it's kind of an early peek at a lot of their 2025 updates on the Catalina 243 RBS. This is the single best-selling Catalina, period. It's their best-selling couples camper. And the biggest hiccup that it had before was it lacked a direct-facing entertainment center. It's one of those super annoying 90-degree neck wrecker entertainment centers. And they have fixed it. And what they basically did is they put the TV where some of the overhead kitchen cabinets would go. And at a glance, it sounds like you're losing kitchen storage, but you're actually not. Instead, the whole island privacy wall at the foot of the bed is now a huge pantry. So you're actually gaining cubic foot of storage, not losing. And you're not losing privacy. But the thing is, I think what has, even despite that hiccup before, made this so popular is it's an under 30-foot half-ton towable couples camper with a super slide. Well, under 30, I think it's under 29 feet. I think it's 28 and change now that I think about it, which is really impressive. Now, they did have to go with a squished down corner bathroom with like a radius shower that I know some folks won't like, but I hope you appreciate how we'll talk about the good and the not so good of these RVs. It is also a Camp Queen bed, but it's totally True Queen capable, and I am campaigning hard for the factory just to adopt a True Queen, and maybe with a little bit of your feedback, if you agree, leave us a comment, we can let them know, or tell me I'm wrong, that's okay too. The underbelly's enclosed, they have a solid JBL sound system. We're looking at one with like all the dressings and pressings option today, like the solar package, even auto leveling on an under 30-foot stick and tin camper, which has almost nearly never been done before. You got the cargo travel rack on the back and a partridge in a pear tree. This is a good camper, and I'm curious to see what you think about it. Let me know where they nailed it, where they failed it, and if you like how we go about this, hit that subscribe button. Let's get in there. Now, I was really curious about something. Tons of different manufacturers make all these different claims about various things like air conditioners that are very difficult to really kind of test for me because I don't usually have the ability and the resources to like run air conditioners. But Coachman was kind enough to plug this one in for me. Thing is, we're on 15 amp shore power, so like extension cord power, not 30 amp part power. And I cranked that air conditioner up because it's hot. And I've heard these GE profile air conditioners are a lot easier on both noise and power. Well, I've got that thing absolutely cranked. I have every single light running. I've got the refrigerator running, the 12-volt compressor fridge, because that's where my little lunchbox that you get a sneak peek at later is. I haven't had it trip a breaker yet. And a lot of stick and tin campers, that would have been the case. So evidently, the claims on that air conditioner are valid because I do have this thing cranking right now. And if I shut up a minute, here's about how noisy it is or isn't, depending on your perspective. Like, I'm aware it's running, but I'm also still presenting at a normal volume. Now, I will say, when I'm inside RVs like this, I don't use any special sort of noise-canceling microphones or anything. Which is tricky because, you know, if I happen to pass gas or something, you're going to hear it. So I've got to be, you know, in control in the moment, but neither here nor there. I'm not cheating the system by any stretch of the imagination, but if I pass one of these central air vents and it blows air directly onto the onboard camera microphone, it's going to go real quick. So in case you're curious, that's what's up. Now, they have maintained the use of floor-vented heating in Catalinas. Considering this is not, like, rated to be some Arctic cold camp brand, I kind of feel like they'd be better served going to cabinet-ducted heating, but it would require some re-engineering, which is tricky. Although they've been willing to do a little bit of it. They went away from carpet, went to carpetless slides, which I think is a nice little touch. I do like the generally light decor color that they have in here. I think it opens the space up very nicely. This is a Catalina Legacy Edition, or for the initiated, I couldn't decide if I want to say initialized for some reason, but the Catalina Legacy Edition. And as a result, if you want to do some furniture swaptions, if you want a table and chairs instead of a booth, you can do it. If you want to hide a bed because that's not actually, it's a fold down sleeper sofa. It's like a glorified jackknife. If you want a true theater seat, you can do that as well. And with the arrangements, the rearrangements they made on this floor plan, I actually suspect that's exactly the route a lot are going to go. I am estimating about 90+% of this floor plan shipped for the 2025 model year is going to be outfitted with theater seating, because last year, if you sat down on the sofa, you had a good look at the revised kitchen countertop, that big extended kitchen that hides the camp kitchen, but you had to look 90 degrees to the left to the entertainment center, which sucked. Instead, you see how you have a nice big deep cabinet right there. They swapped some overhead kitchen cabinet space for a direct facing entertainment center. Now, it is currently right justified. This is like one of the early 25 prototypes that I'm in. I've been told that it will go to a split, like cabinet door here kind of thing, and the TV will be center mounted in the future. So there's a handy thing for you. And this RV does not have awesome campsite window coverage, but at least where you're sitting on the sofa, you got a couple thanks to the window in the door, although it does lack a privacy shade. Just to give you an understanding of scope and scale in here, like this is still like good dinner plate depth, you know. I think that that's legit space. Like you can actually put some plates and stuff in there. We will come back to the front of the RV in a minute. I guess I just kind of want to complete the 360. I do also want to mention that electric space heating fireplace and how I think that if I were building this RV, I would not include it, which normally I would. The reason I wouldn't, if you don't include that, because it is optional, you just get some extra cabinet space, which is awesome. One of the reasons I think I would not include it, because some people are like, what do you mean? I love that electric heating. These new GE profile air conditioners have a built-in heat pump. So this RV already has an electric heater even without the electric fireplace option. So for me, the smart build is to go without it and to maximize my storage. Although, if you do have park hookups all the time and you like early spring, late fall camping, having dual electric heaters, that may not be bad. And you might notice there is a distinct lack of a peekaboo, I smell you bathroom door. There's also a distinct lack of towel storage in the bathroom. There really isn't any sort of cabinet linen space in here. Although I do like the Octopus Fight Club coat hangers. Better than nothing on that wall. The toilet over here, it is surprisingly fluffy friendly. Now, I can see some folks of a large stature struggling a little bit here, but my American-sized dad bod body fit on that thing pretty darn well with enough legroom. Not amazing. The bathroom is probably going to be one of two potential major deal breakers for some folks because it is a radius shower. Now, with this having a 6'9" ceiling instead of 6.5, I can stand in that shower over 6 foot tall myself and be just fine. The elbow room, I guess it just depends on your personal way of going about, you know, how you shampoo up and stuff like that. The rest of the bathroom is simple and basic. And the bathroom really kind of was intentionally made small to keep the total size of the RV small. If you want one of those big 8 foot wide mega rear bathrooms, yeah, this isn't exactly the right floor plan for you. Crack it open kitchen storage here. That's one of those 10 plus cubic foot 12 volt compressor fridges. I do like how Catalina is actually really cool about giving us a dedicated off switch for that though. So, you know, the RV has its own battery disconnect, but it also has a dedicated off switch right by the refrigerator next to that stove wall, or you're going to shut the stupid thing down if you don't want to. Now, you might notice my laptop over there in the background. I'm using this RV as my base camp today, and because it is a hot day, and Catalina was kind enough to host me here, this is where I'm offloading my footage. So I threw my laptop over there. You get to see it has some really, really nice counter space. One of my only knocks in this kitchen, I was about to say, was no real dedicated wastebasket space. But did you see where my backpack was located in that cabinet to the left of the drawers? That would work. That would work just fine. Big stainless, not stainless, I'm sorry, farm sink. It is a plastic farm sink, but it's a farm sink. And I really like these little cup sprayer cleaners that a lot of RV builders are starting to use. Those things are handy. You may also notice there's a bunch of USB plugs almost anywhere there are household outlets. They're both Type A and Type C, which is kind of a handy thing for folks. If you notice up in the bedroom, above that bedroom crossbreeze window, there's a black switch on the wall on the right-hand side. That's a light switch for all the bedroom lights, which I think is actually kind of handy. Because you have sliding privacy doors for the bedroom, they couldn't put a TV across from the bed, which would be nice, or at least TV hookups. So they're over here on the wall. It isn't awesome, but it is what it is. Now, as I mentioned when the video began, this is a camp queen, a short queen. However, they leave you room for a true queen bed. I've already talked to the lead product manager of Catalina today, and I said my vote, and I think the vote of 99% of people watching this, would be to have a true queen. I would love it if you would chime in and we can share the comments of this video with them so that they could kind of see that for themselves and not have to take my word for it. They've revised that upper section too to be like one of those little headboard power pockets. Although it's not actually a power pocket, it's just a shelf because your power outlets are still located down here. Seems a little odd to me, but I don't know. I guess it just kind of, it is what it is, you know. Cracking open the bedroom storage here, starting with above the bed, you can see, you know, normal overhead storage, but it's fully enclosed. It's not just a shelf, the way a lot of manufacturers will make it just a shelf, and I think that's worth noting. Although, there is no strut to hold that bed up, so it was one of those things that I had to take like the jack crank and kind of wedge it in there to sort of cheat it a little bit, you know. And I never, ever remember how the road mode plays out on this one. Let's check it out. Okay, so it's not bad, but it's not flawless. I want to mention this is a rack and pinion slide. Rack and pinion slides are really well liked and respected for their function and reliability at a campsite and opening and closing, but they are not built with the intention of you sitting in the slide while it's retracted because the inside edge of this is unsupported, and if you sit on it and tweak on it, you can actually crank one of the heads, basically, of the system, so don't do that. But the kitchen and the front bedroom, those are easily readily accessible if you remember to leave the bathroom door all the way open and secure it somehow in transit, because the factory doesn't build a way in for that. Then you actually could potentially get back here to the bathroom for transit, although again, you're jumping through hoops to kind of do it. And just to kind of demonstrate the fact that, yeah, you can do that, you do a little bit of a sideways travel trailer two-step, and there you go. You slide right through this sucker. So it's great for a travel stop and snack. It's great for a travel sleepover. Depending on what you do, maybe okay for a travel bathroom stop because of the slide. So it just sort of depends. One other benefit of a rack and pinion slide is, let's say you forget the bathroom door trick that I just mentioned. You left the bathroom door shut. A rack and pinion slide is one of the types that does allow you to like partially open the slide to open that bathroom door enough and then close the slide without screwing stuff up. So hopefully that's all been beneficial, useful for you. Now, when we began the video, I described this as half-ton towable. I want to quantify that because not every half-ton is built equally. This is under 30 foot long, which is a solid size for a lot of half-ton towing. It's also a maximum GVW of 7,100 pounds, which fits comfortably within a lot of tow package modern half-ton pickup capacities. I want to give you a little bit of a caution, though. The base, no options version of this RV has about 1,500 to 1,600 pounds of available cargo carrying capacity. I want to caution you on being very aware of how your options affect the weight of this RV. If you add every available option, like the copy that we're looking at right here, your available cargo carry capacity drops below 1,000 pounds because your dry weight creeps up and up and up with things like the auto leveling system, the solar package, etc. So be very conscious of the weight and allowances of the specific Catalina 243 that you are looking at. And if you appreciate that kind of pro tip info, make sure you hit that subscribe button or just leave me a little note that says, thanks, nerd. Like the auto leveling system here, this is very, very cool. It's the same system that the Freedom Express Liberty Edition and Maple Leaf Editions used for a long time. It works very well. You just, it's auto leveling. You push a button, you let it do its job. There's a little bit of a learning curve to it, like things you shouldn't do, but it's not real complicated to figure out. But again, it adds weight. This thing also has really respectable awning space, and I like how the entry door is not dead nuts next to the awning arm. Sorry, that's a technical term. You get the idea. So if it's on a rainy day, you're not getting spritzed in the face here, you know. Some folks have looked at this and said, what, no spare tire? Because they changed the rear cargo rack. It's now a belly-mounted spare. And if you look down here, something that's not overtly obvious, like you can see the underbelly enclosure, but look at the chassis rails. You notice how it's not in I-beam? This is a Norco huck-bolted chassis, not a conventional Lippert I-beam frame. Some folks feel more confidently about one versus the other. I've never actually seen data on performance records of one versus the other, but I can tell you at least what it is so you can decide if it's the one that fits your peace of mind or not. Now last year for the 24 season, they updated these to change that kitchen arrangement around and include the little mini camp kitchen, which has returned for this year. It is factory standard. If you don't like it, it's very easily removed. It's only a couple brackets kind of hold everything down. And if nothing else, you can always just remove the griddle and use it like a little slide open utility space. The JBL sound system out here, as you can see, mounted down low, which if you're gonna do outside speakers, I do think that's the correct way to do it. And it kind of throws some people off if you're not familiar with this. The auto leveling jack is right behind the tire. As a result, it isolates so much movement coming off those tires. And it makes this RV so much more solid, and it eliminates a ton of wiggle jiggle when you're moving around the RV at your campsite. Now on the back here, if you look at the upper left corner, which is kind of tricky because of the way the sun's coming in, you can see that it is prepped and ready for a telescopic removable ladder. The one that we're looking at today does have their optional 200-watt solar package, and a couple years ago they started standardizing the cargo rack. They changed around the exact style of the cargo rack this year, which pulled the spare tire off of it. As a result, that means that you have more cargo capacity available on the rear thing itself. I believe these are about 200-pound rated, but the spare tire used to eat into that. And it's not easy to see because the rack is in the way, but behind that, when this is folded down, is a hot-cold outside utility shower. A cool thing Catalina does, though, is they allow you to hook the shower head up here and actually use it like an outside shower and not just a glorified sprayer. So there you have it, everybody. Let me know what you think about her, what you like and what you dislike. Also, let me know, what do you think about the idea? What if they had an optional fiberglass package? That's something I've been encouraging Catalina to consider. Kind of like, you know, Cherokee has Black Label and Salem Wildwood have Platinum Edition. What if they option this with like just a stark white fiberglass sidewall? I've been pushing for that for a couple years. I'd be curious to know what you think about it. Maybe I'm just way off base there, though. And I will, of course, also leave you links in the video description to check for pricing and availability. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.